Hello, friends. Now, I know what you're wondering. Where the hell has this guy been? I know it's been a couple of weeks, and I have not been the most consistent person in the world, and for that, I am truly sorry. But you know what? When the Knicks ask you to be involved in their playoff strategy, you don't say no to that, friends. You just don't. And yes, we failed. But it's okay, because we're pushing for the future. Also, I got fired. Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Today on the show, we gotta talk about the NHL and NBA because those playoffs are crazy right now. And of course, we're gonna get into some of the the memo that's about to be released by Major League Baseball. Uh-oh, look out, cheaters. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Premier League. There's a punishment for all those teams that were looking to break away. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, too. So stick with us, friends, because sports starts now! Track 2. Take 1. 3, 2, 1. And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you that are new to the show, first off, I don't usually have this beard, but I'm rolling with it, friends. I figure when my baby is born in just 7 weeks, that's right, 7 weeks, when my baby is born, oh man, I don't want him to come out and look at me and think he's just looking in a mirror. So we got some facial hair rolling right now. It's cool. No worries. Thanks for your support out there, friends. All right, for those of you that are new to the program, of course, we talk about all the news and information from the previous week. Well, I'll give you some insight on the next week, month, year, etc. I had a fun weekend. By the way, if you like what you hear, find me on Soundcloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. That's me. Or you can find me, you can email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Okay. I had a fun weekend. We went up to see my family in Albany. We had baby showers galore over the next few weeks. So this first baby shower, this was my wife's family. You know, with COVID, we had to kind of split things up. So this was my wife's family in the Albany area. We had a lot of fun. So thank you for those who were there. And it was a blast. Total blast. I'm happy. Now we have our second round 2 baby shower part 2 is coming up in just 2 whole weeks, so that should be fun as well. Beyond that, I think it was a regular weekend. You know us, we're always doing something crazy. I don't know, the sports world, I gotta admit, beyond the NBA and NHL, it's been a little bit quieter this week. I feel like this is gonna be a shorter episode, but I really don't know these things until I get into it. Oh, and by the way, we have a sponsor now, Lie Co. If you're a fan of golf attire, this is a great website to go check out, Lie Co. So it's Liekay. That's right. And they have some really cool golf gear. I actually just made my first order the other day. I'm excited for it to come in. If you use the promo code DRAGOPT, DRAGOPT, you're going to get yourself a nice discount on some of their golf gear. So again, Lie Co. I would go check those friends out. I'll give you the info again at the end of the show. All right, let's talk sports. Let's talky sports. NBA. You know what? I have to say, I really thought the Bucks-Nets series was over. And have I been wrong. So right now, you have 2 different series. I'm sorry, you have 4 different series going on. You have the 76ers and the Hawks in the East, and you have the Nets and the Bucks in the East. And then in the West, it's Suns, Nuggets, and it's Clippers, Jazz. Okay, so Philly and the Hawks It's been a nice little back and forth. I really think the Sixers are just going to take over from here. Embiid's looking pretty solid. Everyone here in Philly is really nervous about this meniscal injury. I'm a physical therapist. I'm here to tell you, if a mild meniscal injury, he can still play on it. He can still do really well. I wouldn't be surprised if in the offseason we hear that he needs some kind of knee surgery. But the guy had 27 points the other day, so I'd say roll with it. Ben Simmons, Curry, Green, Tobias Harris, they've all been playing really well. Although Green went down in their most recent game, and I think they're going to lose him. Let's see, right calf strain. So he'll miss the remainder of the series, but he'll probably be back for the next round, which I really think they're going to get into. Ooh, I'm skipping ahead here. I really think the 76ers are going to just end up steamrolling the Hawks, probably win the next few games. Maybe they'll lose one more, I don't know, but I think they're going to win this series. Phoenix and the Nuggets. The Suns are already up 3-0 against the Nuggies. I got to give it to this team. Really, without Chris Paul, I don't think they would have been the number one seed. I don't think they would be as good as they've been. Now, that doesn't take away from all the other stellar players that the Suns have right now. I mean, Crowder, they got Bridges, they got Booker. They have a really nice core, and I like what they're building. But Chris Paul has proven himself time and time again to be a one-man show. He's just such a great leader in the locker room. He did the same thing with the Thunder last year. He's phenomenal. And whether he plays with the Suns next season or not, it's starting to look like he won't be. Wherever he goes, they're going to be a successful team. But right now, it looks like the Suns are going to make it to the next round. Jazz and Clippers, this is still a back-and-forth series. Jazz won the first two games. Clippers did really well in the last one. I got to say, the Clippers have looked shaky so far in the postseason. Their first series went to 7 games. Here they are against the Jazz. They lost the first 2. They finally won 1. The Jazz are looking pretty solid. Mitchell, I think, we got to look this up. I think he had an ankle pain, but he'll be ready for Game 4 by the look of it, because he's their guy. They need him. That's a tough series for me to call so soon. It's 2-1. I like what the Jazz did in the first 2 games. If Mitchell continues to play the way he should be playing, yeah, I think the Jazz could get there. But the Clippers with guys with Kawhi Leonard, I really like what they're doing. I don't think Tyronn Lue is the best fit for this team from a coaching standpoint, but the Clippers are doing good things right now. And then the Nets-Bucks series, and this is the series I was like, they're dead in the water. The Bucks can't get a win, and suddenly they've won the last 2 games. And you know what? Kyrie Irving is now out. James Harden was already out. Now it's just Kevin Durant leading the Nets, and the Bucks are gonna take advantage of that. I think let's see, now x-rays were negative. This is for Kyrie Irving. So right ankle injury, x-rays were negative, but there's no timetable on his return. If the Nets lose 2 of their big 3, the Bucks are going to win this series, hands down. If Kyrie comes back, I think you have a closer, just Kyrie and Durant, I think it's going to be a closer series than we think. Now, I don't really know how I feel about either of these teams. I'm rooting for the 76ers. Yeah, I live in Philadelphia. Hey, this is a Knicks hat. I told you in the beginning. Knicks all the way. All right. So, part of me doesn't want to see Brooklyn win it, just out of spite. But living here in Philly, I think the Sixers have come a long way. I think they have what it takes to win it all. But either of these teams, the Nets and the Bucks, I would argue, have the better chance of getting to the finals. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's definitely been exciting, though. I have to say that. It's been exciting. All right, let's look at the NHL. We have 2 series right now. You have the Lightning and the Islanders, which just played Game 1 today, right? Islanders are winning 2-1 in that series. I'm sorry, Islanders won that game 2-1. It was a close one. And a lot of Islanders fans I heard were saying it shouldn't have been as close as it was. Semyon Varlamov's up 30 shots. The Islanders are surprising. This is back-to-back years now that they've made it to the semifinals. Now, the Lightning are a perennial contender. They've gotten here quite a bit. They are the defending champions. It's really hard to win it 2 seasons in a row. But the Penguins did it just a few years ago. So, I don't know. Going into this series, I like the Lightning. They have the playoff pedigree. They have the talent. They've been shaky this year. The Islanders had a tough road to get here. First going after the Penguins and beating the Penguins, and then beating the Bruins. I honestly think I'm picking the Islanders. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm picking the Islanders to win this series over the Lightning. Listen, unless something changes for Tampa Bay, New York is going to be the better team here. It pains me to say that so much, being a Penguins fan that has seen them steamroll us twice in the last 3 years. But they got a nasty team, and they really know how to agitate. Now, on the other side of the ice puck, whatever you want to say, it's the Canadiens and the Golden Knights. The Canadiens have no business getting this far in the playoffs. Really don't. Now, they were in a much weaker division, the Canadian division. No offense to my friends in Canada, but let's be real here. We knew the Maple Leafs were going to win that division, right? We sort of knew from the beginning. Maple Leafs, Oilers, Jets. None of those teams have really made any waves in the playoffs in the last few years. They have decent teams, but the Canadiens, they're also, I would argue they're in the same vein as the Islanders. They're just a nasty, gritty team that knows how to get under your skin. I like the Golden Knights in this series. Marc-Andre Fleury is phenomenal. But the Golden Knights, again, they're the team with the pedigree. They know how to go deep they've gone deep in the playoffs a few times. I'd love to see the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup. I think everybody would like to see that. So yeah, this is an interesting one. It's an interesting series. I'm very interested to see what happens. So Lightning, Golden Knights, that first game is tomorrow. And actually, I think I made a mistake when I was talking about the NBA scores. There should be a game going on now. Yeah, Suns and Nuggets. So the Suns could actually close it out tonight and get a nice long rest going into the next round. We'll see. They're winning right now at 71-63. The Suns' first series, they won 4-2, so they lost two games against the Lakers. That's right. So I don't know. Suns will get a nice long break. That might bode well for them. All right, let's look at Major League Baseball and the standings at the moment. Okay, Rays are in first place in the AL East. They've won 42 games so far this year. Red Sox are behind them, 3 games back at 39 wins. Blue Jays are 33-30, and the Yankees are 33-32. Yankees are 3-7 in last 10. They are not a good team right now. And the Orioles are 22-42. In the AL Central, it's the White Sox currently on top at 41-24. Indians 34-28. Royals 30-34. Twins are 26-39, 15 games back, and the Tigers 26-39. That division right there, just shocking. I really thought the Twins are going to run away with it. The White Sox have been brewing for a little bit. They have had a lot of young talent over the years and never really seemed to put it together. This year they're putting it together. And in the West, you have the Athletics at 40-27, Astros 37-28, Angels 33-32, Mariners 32-35, and the Rangers at 25-41. Right now, if the playoffs were to end, we're getting to the midway point in the season, friends. We're very close to that. If the season were to end right here, right now, you'd have the Rays, the White Sox, and the Athletics. Those would be your representative teams. Then your 2 wildcard teams. Is it 3 wildcard teams now? You have the Blue Jays. Let's just stick with the 2 wildcard teams at the moment, because I don't remember. Last year they added extra wildcard teams, and they had a whole wildcard bonanza. Right now, the Red Sox and the Astros are your 2 wildcard teams. If we want to add 2 more, let's say the Indians would then be in there. And then it's the tie between the Angels and the Blue Jays. I would think the Blue Jays, but I it depends on the season series, I suppose. So yeah, exciting stuff. Let's go to the National League now. The Mets are on top of the NL East at 32-25. Phillies are 32-31. Braves are 30-33. Marlins 29-36, and the Nationals 27-35. In the NL Central, the Brewers are 28-27. Cubs are 37-27. Reds are 32-31. Cardinals 32-32, and the Pirates are 23-41. Cardinals 2-8 in their last 10 games. In the West, the Giants are on top at 40-25. Nobody saw that coming this year, with the Dodgers at 39-26 and the Padres at 38-29. A lot can still happen, though. Rockies are 25-41. Diamondbacks are 20-46. So again, let's say the season ends right now. You have the Mets, the Brewers, the Giants. Those are your division leaders. Your extra wild card teams here include the Dodgers, obviously, and the Padres, also obviously, the Cubbies, and then if it is 4 wildcard teams this season, I think it's either the Phillies or the Reds. Those 2 teams are both in the wild card hunt. So Major League Baseball, there's been a lot of reports of substance abuse by pitchers, a lot of questions on certain pitchers' velocity and their turn radius over the last few weeks. I'm curious to see what Major League Baseball plans to do, but apparently they are planning to crack down at some degree against foreign substances like spider tack or super glues. If you remember pine tar, I always say Miguel Pineda a few years ago had pine tar on his neck. You could see it on his neck, and he'd conveniently just rub his neck between each pitch. I mean, come on, buddy. That was probably the worst I've ever seen. But you know what? It's becoming a problem, and as baseball likes to do, they need to work on these problems. I bet this is one of those things in baseball that's been going on forever. Since the dawn of baseball, there have been guys looking for competitive edges like this. And we've talked about it all the time. We've talked about it with substance abuse. We've talked about it, with the trash can scandal. These things that occur behind the scenes in baseball. Cheating in baseball, it's scary how often it happens. And it probably happens a lot in other sports too. We just don't realize it or know about it. So what are they going to do? I don't think... Here we go. So some of the measures that are being taken, this comes from The Athletic. Umpires will search starting pitchers at least twice and relievers at least once during games. They can check any part of the uniform or skin showing on the players. In order to keep with pace of play concerns, routine checks will only be made during commercial breaks. If a pitcher is suspected of use at any time, a check would take place during the inning. If a substance is found, the pitcher will be ejected on the spot, and anything with the substance on it will be taken by MLB for examination. The ump will check the gloves of position players. If it is suspected they are doctoring balls for pitchers. Wow, I didn't even think of that. By the way, Rule 6.02C7 says, the pitcher shall not have on his person or in his possession any foreign substance. The pitcher may not attach anything to either hand, any finger, or either wrist, band-aid, tape, superglue, bracelet, etc. The umpire shall determine if such attachment is indeed a foreign substance for the purpose of Rule 6.02C7, but in no case may the pitcher be allowed to pitch with such attachment to his hand, finger, or wrist. And of course they then go to the Miguel Pineda example. I mean, that was just terrible. I'm sorry. You should Google that. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Google Miguel Pineda. Is it Michael or Miguel? Michael Pineda from the Yankees and pine tar. You'll find it. You'll find it. So this is interesting. At any point in the game, umpires are just going to check on these players now to see if they're utilizing some kind of substance. Let's see. Jake DeGrom. He has been having a phenomenal season. He struck out 11 Padres in 7 scoreless innings, but then after 80 pitches, he had right flexor tendonitis. This is in Friday's games. So he's going to miss the next 16 days. Oh, no, he missed 16 days already with a right side issue. And he had Tommy John surgery already as a minor, so he's been having a phenomenal season so far, Jake DeGrom. Hopefully things turn out better for him. Max Muncy is also on the injured list. He's had a phenomenal start to his season, too, so keep an eye on that, Dodgers fans. The Arizona Diamondbacks unveiled a new uniform this week, referencing the Sonoran Desert and the state's Hispanic culture. Let's see, do we get a picture of it? Ooh, I like that. Serpentines. I love that. That actually looks really cool with the snake coming out. Can they just change their name from Diamondbacks to Serpentines or Serpentines? Let's see. Right now they have an alternative logo that reads Los D-backs. I never really liked the term D-backs because I'm not going to lie, it sounds too familiar with D-bags. So, I don't know. Los Serpentines. I really like it. I think they should go with it. Just roll with it. New team, new logo. And I love the color too, like that desert tan. Really, it's not as campy, I think, as the Diamondbacks have had over the years. City Connect jersey. I love it. The other teams with a City Connect jersey are the Red Sox, Marlins, White Sox, and Cubs. Can we see some of these? No, it won't link it to me. All right, we'll have to look that up. All right. Tyler Rogers with the rising slider. Let's see if we get a picture of this. So Rogers plays for the Nationals. Let's see. Yeah, so Trey Turner, Juan Soto are out. Let's see. No, he plays for the Giants. Oh, that is crazy. He sinks really low, and then he throws the ball low, and then it slides back up. That's a nasty pitch. And it goes 73 miles per hour, too. Do we got another video here? Or is this the same one? Yeah, this is the same, different video. That's pretty cool. So, I'm sorry. So, Tyler Rogers on the Giants. You should totally check out that video. It's on. I'd go look at it. All right, I got a fun fact for you. This is a very true fun fact. Shohei Ohtani became the first player since Goggles McFlurry in 1836 to throw a pitch 99 miles per hour and hit a ball 114 miles per hour and balk twice in one inning in the same game. That can't be true. Goggles McFlurry? This is definitely a meme. This is totally a meme. We're going to look this up. Yeah, okay. All right. It's not true. It's not true. I just had to confirm that. Goggles McFlurry is probably the best fake baseball name I've ever heard. There's no way that's true. All right, Russell Westbrook is, let's see, reporting for the final week of organized team activities, but not everything's been too happy with Westbrook. I'd argue it's a similar situation to Aaron Rodgers. Like, the team just can't seem to get the right guys around him. He's having these Herculean MVP seasons, and it's just not culminating in any championships. At least he's won one early in his career. But it sounds like he's not planning to leave Seattle, which is good. Can't say the same for Aaron Rodgers, although I still think he's not going anywhere. Le'Veon Bell said he'd rather retire before playing for Andy Reid again. Yikes. This is a guy who's played for the New York Jets, mind you, and he'd rather play for the Jets than Andy Reid. I love it. Oh my gosh. So, after he was released from the Jets, he joined the Chiefs. He, let's see, rushed for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell is not the guy he used to be. I think he way overplayed his hand when he sat out for the Steelers, came back, is out of shape, didn't really give two cojones with the Jets, and then, found his way into other contracts. So, yeah, okay, you don't want to play for Andy Reid again. Listen, buddy, I don't think you're going to play anywhere again, to be honest. You're not the player you used to be. I think the Chiefs are going to do just fine without you. All right, Jarvis Landry says that Odell Beckham Jr. looks amazing after knee surgery. Odell Beckham has not been relevant in a little bit. Now, he was supposed to be one of those guys that really brought Cleveland superstardom, and since coming here, I mean, he did have that 1,000-yard season 2 years ago, but last year he was held to only 7 games. How many touchdowns did he have? He only had 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's a long way away from his first 3 seasons where he was in the double digits for touchdowns. He was over 1,500 yards. Over 1,300 yards each season. You know, that was a long time ago. Dolphins reach a 3-year, $39 million deal with linebacker Jerome Baker. Congratulations, Jerome. Richard Sherman wants to sign for a team with a team competing for a championship. Okay. He's been with San Francisco for the last 3 seasons. Yeah, remember he was one of those guys that joined San Francisco after it looked like they were going to be this, again, another fantastic team, and it didn't really work out. And there really was a thought that he would come join the Jets because he had a close relationship with Robert Saleh. I think that would be great, but Jets aren't really looking for a guy like Sherman right now. He's a fantastic veteran. I like his presence. I like everything about Richard Sherman. I just think they're looking for some younger players. All right, let's finish this off. The Premier League. Clubs involved in the Super League have been fined £22 million. That's like $3 million per team. It's actually not that much. However, if in the future they decide to join some unsanctioned league again, they've signed contracts on this, it would be a 30-point deduction. A 30-point deduction on the table. Or standings for my American friends here. I'm trying to bridge the gap here in soccer. All right? Be a 30-point deduction. Let's say that happened this year. Let's say they actually deduct them 30 points. Arsenal and Tottenham, which are 2 of the biggest teams in England, 2 of these super teams, would actually have been relegated this season, were that the case. Crazy. Just crazy. So, that being said, wait, punishment during the 2019-2020 campaign. Oh, so never mind. They would have been... Why is that even relevant? That was 2 years ago. All right, either way, you know what I'm talking about. Listen, a 30-point deduction is huge. And yeah, it is enough for teams that are struggling. You know, maybe Man U has a bad year. Maybe it just happens to be the same year that this happens and they get relegated. Could you imagine that happening? The fans in Old Trafford would flip out. If you haven't seen some of the protests the last couple of months, oh my gosh, it'd be crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, hopefully that is the end of that saga. I know at one point I was all for the super team, and then I learned more about it, and I realized, wow, I was being a really dumb American. Like, all right, I see why soccer works. Fine. Totally fine. I still think there should be some more competition between some of those bigger teams, and maybe they could find a way to do that, but I get it. It's okay. All right, friends, that is it for the show today. Whew! Special thanks, as usual, to Johanna Drago. She's the content editor, logo designer, and set designer of this podcast. The music you hear is a song called Golden Sunrise by Josh Woodward. A link to his website can be found in the show notes. If you'd like, look up Like and Co. That's right, they're my new sponsor. Like and Co. Amazing looking golf gear. They're very soft and comfortable. And use my promo code. That's DragoPT. DragoPT. DRAGOPT at Like and Co. LIEKAY &Co. That's that fun squiggly that makes an and. Alright, and of course our social media warriors, Mary Kay and Gary Albert. Thanks for listening. Also, Jorge Pajari, Joe Calabro, all my fans out there who've missed me the last week. I love you guys. I'm back, and we're gonna have some good shows. I think so. Actually, it's gonna get really boring once we hit the summer, because then it's like, ugh. What am I gonna talk about? Baseball and MLS? Alright, let's make it happen, Captain. Okay, for those of you who are sick of hearing of me, find me on SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. That's me. Or you can email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining the show. Always a pleasure. Did I miss anything? Like, comment, share, Twitter, all of those things. Since I was fired by the Knicks, maybe I'm going to go and try and get hired by the Sixers. I'm just going to show up at the stadium knocking on the door like, hey, I'm going to help you guys. It's gonna go fantastic. Friends, have a good, delicious night. Caw-caw!